Hello, hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Woman to Woman with Joanne. I am so excited to introduce our guest for today, Miss Jeanhee Kang. She is the author of a book called Migook, which means beautiful country in South Korea. She talks about her story of coming from South Korea to the United States and to our beautiful state of Mississippi. So, y'all help me welcome Miss Jeanhee Kang. Hello, hello, my people. We are here with the beautiful Miss Jeanhee Kang. She is the author of a book called Me Gook, Dry Bones, and it just shares her true story. So we want to welcome you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very honored to be here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so excited to hear your story. So talk to us. Tell us, my first question is always, where were you born and raised? So talk to us about where you were born and raised.
I was born in South Korea in a small town called Iksan, a little village, little away from everything. There's a 7 households in the middle of rice paddies. And we could virtually hear everyone that close.
Oh,
and
wow.
we were just everybody was poor at that time, a few years after Korean War. So Korea was struggling at the time, and I think it was one of the poorest countries in the world. So we didn't have anything really. Everything was just sort of like starting over for everyone. So we grew rice, and we were like a sharecroppers. So we grew rice, but we had to give to owner at the end of the harvest once a year, and we get the rice as the returns pay. And we keep the rice, and we use the rice to buy sugar or flour, sesame oil, and things that we couldn't produce. And rice was like a currency. We could literally take rice to market and buy things. So we really didn't get to eat white steamy rice every day. So my mom would get, like, if I sit on the table of 7 of us and I see white rice in front of me, that means that it was my birthday.
Awesome.
And another time we got to eat white rice was New Year's. So actually twice a year we got to eat all steamy rice. And all other time it was a mixture of beans or potatoes or vegetables or things that sort of like to eat to survive.
Yes.
Yeah, and we were hungry, so we'll eat anything that is on the table.
Yes.
There's nothing left. And we were just looking around and see who's got anything left, but nobody has anything.
Yes. So talk to me about after leaving South Korea. Tell us what brought you to the United States first of all.
Growing up so poor back home, and I think I was 5 years old, and one day I was helping grown-ups planting rice. It was springtime, and there was only man got to live in a real house, like real windows, and house was built with woods. All of our house was built in mud and the thatch roof. So he's the only one who had a bicycle, and he passed through while I was planning, and here I was, like leeches all over my leg, and I was pulling leeches off, and one of the leech was super big, and it was not coming off, so I had to use a grown-up's machete to slice it off. And while I was doing that, I look up, there's a dam keeper, DAM, dam keeper, riding bicycle, passing through. And I felt like he was asking me, you poor girl, I made it. What about you? Just, I don't know if it was just meant to be expressed that way, but I heard him. And I was looking at him like, okay, that's who I want to be when I grow up. I'm going to take his life, like I want to go to his house and check it out and see what kind of house he has. And I want that house. I want his, his life was what I wanted at that time. So my dream was to run away one day and how, I don't know, because I've never been anywhere. There is no TV, there's no power, there's no outside of media. So I have no imagination of what it's like to be out of that little small village. And I remember I used to pray to this mountain away from rice paddy. There was a one mountain, and it's like a carved. The top of the mountain was like carved like a man's face looking up the sky. And I didn't believe in God, but I just thought there must be something gigantic, something that created that face looking up to heaven. And I said, okay, I'm gonna make him my God. So I used to call him God, in Korean, 하나님. And I used to pray to him. I said, help me run away. And when I'm hungry, I used to tell him, give me some food. So those are the prayers between me and Mountain God. And I just felt like that one day I could run away and go somewhere, but I didn't know how. And when I saw that dam keeper, in fancy clothes, riding bicycle to his beautiful home on the hill, and I came home that day after finished planting rice, and I asked my mom, I ran fast, like my heart was beating. I said, Mom, how did you get that job? And my mom was peeling beans, and I said, what job? Who? I said, dam keeper, Mama. How did he get that job? And she said, he went to high school. I was 5 years old. I had no idea what high school meant, but I was going there.
Yes.
So I said, Mom, I'm going to high school. Come on, take me there. And she said, no. Girls don't go to school. At that time, all the girls stay home and help, farming. So I begged for almost every day for a year. Then finally, I turned 6 years old. And when she told me, it was like our school starts in March. So it was still cold and like icicle everywhere. She had boiled hot water, put me in that little clay tub and, brush, hair and stuff. And she couldn't even comb my hair because my hair was so tangled. We didn't have soap, we didn't have a shampoo. And she just tried to comb me through. And I realized she tried to take me to school. And she had to clean me up. And there's like lice all over my head. And she was like killing lice all over. And I finally cried. I said, Mama, it hurts too much. So she stopped combing. And she had me, a frozen icicle, like she washed me real quick. And we didn't even have like big towel. It was a little bitty towel. Just she dried me real quick and put clothes on me. And okay, come on, let's go.
Right.
We walked 10 miles to school.
Wow.
I followed her. And I'd never been out of the little village. And I was following her. I was so excited. I'm going to high school, right?
Yes.
In my mind. I'm going to high school. And I'm going to be like dam keeper.
Yes.
So I'm just following her, check it out, and finally got there. And my mom wasn't sure about this because I was only 6.
Right.
And she says, are you sure you can do this? And I said, yes, Mama. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I was going to tell her I could do it.
Right.
So with the rice, she paid for notebook and a pencil. And she hands it to me. She said, okay, now you got to hurry up and come home. You got to help me with the farming after school. You know how to get home? I said, yes, Mama, I remember.
So you walked 10 miles back home by yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, that's how it was.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. I walked into that classroom. It was like 83 kids.
Wow.
And they all, they look like they're better off than me because they had a better clothing, and a few girls had a shiny hair, pretty face. And here I was like the dirtiest, the ugliest, youngest girl. And I walked in like this.
That's
and I
right.
said,
Proud.
I am here.
That's right. Okay, you guys, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more Woman to Woman with Joanne.
During a public health crisis, it can be hard for those facing domestic abuse to know what to do. Being confined in the same space as an abuser can increase threats to safety, and leaving an abusive relationship during a crisis can be even more difficult than normal. You can help. Ask them how they want to connect and be creative. Be supportive and believe them. Help them think through how to stay safe. Following these tips, you can help victims of domestic violence stay safe during COVID-19.
Okay, you guys, we're back and we're still here with the lovely Miss Jeanhee Kang. So, Miss Kang, talk to me about coming to the United States. What brought you here to the United States?
Um, so my dream was to finish high school, the one that I started as elementary school, and live like a dam keeper.
Yeah.
And my dream didn't work out that way. I was 15. I broke the taboo, and in that time, Korea was still in a, that century-old taboo that girls must be pure as white and must be virgin on the wedding night. No, premarital sex or even kissing in the public would get you arrested.
Wow.
It was very strict that time. So girls supposed to remain pure. And I broke that taboo, and I got pregnant at 15, and I had abortion when I was 16. And once I had an abortion, I knew that life that I dreamt was never going to be given, because Korea at that time, if a girl was broken and she broke the taboo, and that was done. I was never going to get second chance. I could never go back to school. I could never have chance to marry decent men, and I could never live normal life. I was sort of like the one that is subhuman, that nobody care what happens to me, including my family. They expect me to either disappear or drink red poison and die. Those are two options. That's it. There's no other options. And I knew that. And no one told me that I have to do one of these, the other. But everyone the girls, if they broke taboo, they knew those are the options. It was an unspoken rule. And I knew that. So when I realized that I was expelled from school, high school, when they found out I had an abortion, that was the end of my life, my dream. But I never gave up. I didn't want to give up. I didn't want it to be end that way. So I needed to start a new life some way, somehow. And first I had to run away. And I was gone. I chose to go place where no Korean decent girl go. There's a place called Osan Air Base. And it was GI town, American GI town. And when I get there, my dream was to meet a GI to take me to America. And my goal was to spend as little time as possible, because I sort of knew that if I hit 18, I cannot go to high school even in America. Yeah. So I had to get here. So I was in a sort of like a plan. I had a plan, and all the girls back in that town, I'm not sure what kind of plan they had, but I knew that I didn't drink. I didn't want to do drugs, and I studied entire time, and I wasn't doing the prostitute, and I wanted to shorten that time as fast as I can, because I had a goal. When I got there and I told people that I'm going to high school, and they all laughed at me. I thought they choked themselves while they were drinking when I said that. But I knew that I was coming to America, and I was going to high school. So a few months later, I met, at the time, husband, and we got married. And I started begging him, just like when I begged my mother when I was 5, send me to school. I begged him with the broken English, please send me to high school in America. Please. And he finally, gave up and says, okay, here's the ticket, go. because he still had to serve there. He was in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So he sent me to his parents' house. And I came here in 1975, October 16. And I flew here to St. Louis, Missouri. And they picked me up that night. I think a 4 hours drive. We went to his house. It was like trailer park. And it's just like a little, looks like a train car. And I said, oh, in America, I guess if you don't like neighbor, you can just take it and go. It was
like one of the campers.
Yeah, yeah. It was. They were very poor. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. As soon as I woke up early, I was ready. Yes. I had my book bag, my dictionary, everything ready, and they were. His parents were getting ready to go to work, and I had my book bag, and I said, I'm going to school. Please take me to high school. Mm-hmm. So they were like, what? You're not tired? No, I'm not tired.
Right.
Take me to school. So they enrolled me to 11th grade. Awesome. And I didn't speak good enough to understand. Yeah. Teachers were speaking so fast. Yeah. I didn't know what she was saying. I was reading wrong pages half the time. But you know what? I was there.
You were there.
I was there. High school. And that's how.
In America.
In America. And I was the happiest Korean girl ever.
Yes,
when I got to sit in that classroom, I said, I made it.
Awesome.
And everything I've done, what happened to me was past.
That's right. Past tense, because you were here. So talk to me about your experience. How did you, what got you here to Mississippi? Because, okay, so we went from South Korea to St. Louis, Missouri. So how did you get here to Mississippi?
From Missouri, a few months later, at that time, husband came back after he served Air Force, and we moved to Arizona. Uh-huh. But even though I'm a poor country girl from South Korea, I had a big dream.
Yes.
And the life that we were living, and he had a very lower rank Air Force guy. We never had money. Mm-hmm. He took me out to like Jack in the Box with a dinner out, and even that we couldn't afford. And just time passed on by, and I tried to go to high school, and then I got pregnant with my boys, and I realized this is not what I wanted. I wanted to go to high school and finish, and I see myself going somewhere. Right. And I was stuck with this man. I'm sorry, sound selfish, but things I've done to get there, I had to find my redemption to make it up. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't what I wanted to do. Right. So we got divorced. Yeah. Then entire time, I wanted to go back to school, but I was too old to go to high school. So now I had to go to get GED. Yeah. And then I got GED. Then I went to night school, tried to finish, take class. I'm still speaking broken English, but I was there trying to figure out how to write and how to read. But then I ended up moving to Oklahoma, and that's where I went to junior college. Mm-hmm. Then I got to graduate from 2-year college. Awesome. And but again, plan changed. I wanted to go to OU. I was given a full scholarship for Air Force ROTC from University of Oklahoma University in Norman. But then I met a guy, bad guy, made a bad decision. And he talked me into moving. And that's how I came to Mississippi.
Oh, wow. To Mississippi. Okay. Y'all, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to talk about her time here in Mississippi, the beautiful state. We'll be right back with more Woman to Woman with Joanne.
Whether buying or selling a home, service counts. Lynette Sutler with One Star Realty is your trusted realty agent with over 10 years of experience and ready to serve you, giving you the star treatment. Call Lynette Sutler today to get the service you deserve.
Okay, you guys, we're back. We're still here with the lovely Miss Jeanhee Kang. So, Miss Jeannie, tell me about when you came to know God, because I remember when you were saying, as a little girl, you prayed to the mountain that had a face, looked like it had a face carved in it, the face of a man. Talk to us about coming to know God.
Well, at the time when I was only 5 and I didn't know God really, but all the Koreans people around in the village was Buddhist, and they're going, I'm thinking if they believe Buddhist, then they're poor, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's something else I need to be believing. So when I made that mountain God as my God, it was between me and him. I would talk to him things that, like, I wouldn't dare to tell somebody, help me run away, but I told mountain God, help me run away. And I felt like he always see me when I'm sad, when I'm in trouble. I feel like he's there to watch me, but I didn't know like God like I do now. But at that time, there was very important to me that I had somebody else that I can talk to and hear my secrets.
Right.
And so I feel like that when all the rest of the people are believing Buddhist, I'm like, they're poor, and I want to get out of there. I want to go somewhere.
Right.
So literally, I just put myself out of this, village, and I'm somewhere else. Like I already saw they're going somewhere. I don't know why. I was crazy 5-year-old girl. I didn't even want to play with neighbor kids because I feel like they're gonna drag me down and keep me there.
Right.
I wanted to get out.
Right. So now you're in Mississippi, and tell us about. Of course, now you've come to Mississippi and you're here. Tell us about your experience being here in Mississippi and all of that.
Yeah. So Mississippi, of course, I was in bad relationship with my one of my ex-husband, but what I noticed in Mississippi is that everybody was so sweet. They call me honey, and most everybody, like if I get to know them, where do you go to church? Yeah. I'm like, church? Why did they ask such a question? It just didn't dawn on me. But over the time, one of my friend Jamie Woods, she said, Jenny, let's go to church. This guy, the new guy named Chip Henderson, he's so awesome. He can talk to you like us. He doesn't talk about like other preacher. It's not boring. I'm like, somehow she wheels me into it, and over several years later, like, okay, she talked me into it. She bought me dinner. I said, I'll buy you dinner if you go with me. So I promised I'll go. And I went to Pine Lake Church. Then one day it was about runaway sermon. And
It was about running away? Oh, wow.
The prodigal son ran away.
Yeah.
Like in a big red chair in the center, and screamed that teenager ran away and blew everything away, and he came home and father accepted him, and I started crying. That's me. I'm a runaway. And so that's when I broke down. Yeah. But over the years that I knew that God was with me, but I didn't know it. Yeah. Because all the blessings that I've had over the years, even though hard times that I had, but ultimately God was looking out for me. Yeah. My mountain God.
Yes. Talk to us about your boys. I know you said you had 2 boys. Talk to us about your boys.
Yeah, I had 3 boys, but my oldest one passed, went to heaven. My youngest son was with the last husband that I had, and he was an Arab guy. It was not very nice. It was a very violent relationship. Yeah. And one day I was watching Oprah show, and she was talking about why women can't leave and why the women stay. And it was about domestic violence. Yeah. And she said, only you can break the chain. I'm like, I'm listening. Yeah. And I said, okay, I'm going to break this chain.
That's right.
And actually, I went and bought a gun. I was going to kill him. So one day we were fighting, and he was chasing me to beat me up, and gun fell off, and I picked it up, and his eyes just got this big. Wow. I said, what? Bad word. I said, this is to kill you. I didn't shoot him, but I was pointing at him like I was going to. And then he just took everything and scooped my 3-month-old baby and took off. And I didn't see my baby for 6.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I found him in Amman, Jordan when he was 8. I brought him home.
Yes, that is awesome. That's so awesome. So talk to us about being here. I know that you had founded a store, the Underground Store. Talk to us about that while being here in Mississippi.
So when my ex-husband left with my 3-month-old baby, I had $50 in the bank, no car, about to get kicked out of apartment. And so I didn't know what to do. But I just knew that I wasn't gonna take him back.
Right.
Then I happened to call bank at the time. It was called Deposit Guarantee on County Line Road, and I told them, "This is me. How much do I have?" He said $50. Then wait a minute. There's a $2,200 in the bank. It's in your son's name, Jason Birch, and that's my son. He said I could have it. I ran to the bank, put shoes on, a key, and I ran. I said, I want to get that money. He said, how do you want it? What do you mean, how do I want it? I want my money. And I ran back, and that $2,200, I would pay rent, and I bought food, and I had a round-trip ticket to New York City, and I knew where I was going. I wanted to buy the merchandise and bring it back with me, and that's how I made after I paid everything, I had $800 left. And I was in New York City, Chinatown, and I was buying fake watches, $8, and I was going to come Mississippi and sell it, $55. Yeah. That's pretty good market. I know it was illegal, but at the time, and I didn't sell drugs. I didn't sell, it was just a life. So I was a street peddler virtually. I was standing street corner, grocery store. I was selling watches. Wow. And I just saved everything I made. And money just kind of saved and saved. And I went to mall, North Park Mall, and saw a little bitty kiosk in the center. And how much is that? Mall manager said, I had a laundry basket of watches, and legal watches this time. Yes. And he looked at it and I said, how much is it? He said, $800. I said, I want that. He says, if you don't pay rent, I'm going to kick you out. Okay, fine. So I set up my watches. Like, I didn't have enough watches. I have to spread them out, put them on here, put them over there, put them over there. Right. So that's how I started. And I saved money. I worked like 363 days. I was off for Easter and Christmas. Oh, wow. And every day. And my friends would bring my boys after school, and they would study under the little kiosk. Yeah. Then I saved. Like I said, I just save and I work, then went to the store, little bit temporary store. Then I ended up opening that underground store. It took me 5 years. Wow. Yeah.
And then it spread out.
I had have 7 stores. And one day I went to file tax. My accountant had me sign. I had a lot of zeros in there after zero. I'm like, what? This is not mine. He said, yes, it is.
Wow. It was a lot of zeros.
It was like $800,000.
Wow.
And it's like, she said, you made that much. I'm like, what? So then I opened store in Georgia, South Carolina, Louisiana, opened all over the place.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
A street peddler too. Multi-stores.
Yes, that is amazing. From here in Mississippi, that is amazing. And we just got just a couple more minutes. I do want to talk just a bit about your book. Tell the people what Miiguk means.
Miiguk means to Asians, beautiful country, America. Every Asians know this word, Miiguk. They may pronounce it a little different, but during 60s and 70s, all the Asians, we dreamed of coming to America. So we call it Miiguk.
Miiguk was beautiful country. Is that what you told me? Miiguk is beautiful country, and that's what they thought. That's what you guys looked forward to, trying to get to America, to the beautiful country of Miiguk. Y'all, I'm so excited that Miss Jeanhee decided to come and just share a part of your story with us. Tell everybody how they can find your book to read your story.
Well, thank you. You can find it on Amazon or Nemoria. On any online bookstores. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Miss Jeanhee, thank you so much for coming to share your story with us. And I'm just so excited that so many people are going to see this story and be encouraged and enlightened.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, thank y'all so much for joining us for another episode of Woman to Woman with Joanne. We will see y'all next time. Love y'all. Bye-bye. If you would like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to sponsor an episode, please reach out to us. You can email us at joanne@womantowomanwithjoanne.com.